a smartphone, and if you've known to access the smartphone, but at least you know how to access the internet and make good use of it, whether in terms of communication or in terms of finding out anything that you would want from the perspective of business. And tell you what, like I told you, we're going to be discussing how one can position themselves in this digital era to make good money for themselves. And joining me this morning, it's in a conversation that we're going to be having, is Sarah Be Nice, who is actually live from London. And first of all, we'll give her a time to introduce herself, and then we get going with our discussion. Good morning, Sarah.
Hello, Sonko. Good morning, Mr. Sonko. Good morning. Good morning to you and everyone watching us this morning. Thanks for having me on your show.
All right. Pleasure is ours to be having you. What time is it in the United Kingdom?
It is 6:45 in the morning. So yeah.
Oh. All right. And good days are coming in, I should say. Pretty much the time. I actually thought I woke you up very early. I think it's fine. It's fair.
It's all right, though.
All right.
Now, speaking of
one would want to know from the perspective of how things are running in the United Kingdom. Now, from a Ugandan perspective here, people are just getting used to the digital marketing and all the stuff using the internet. So if you're to give us a brief understanding, what is the best way to term digital marketing or running business digitally?
Right. First of all, we need to realize, for the listeners or watchers, people watching today, we need to realize that when you run a business, marketing and advertising should be part and parcel of your business. It should be part of the assets that you invest into the business, as opposed to an extra, which is a big mistake most people do. So once you understand that, then the next stage will be looking at how best to do it. And in this day and age, the best way to do it would be to go online and advertise digitally. Now, you asked how best someone can tap into that. There is different foundations before someone goes into advertising. I personally come from a marketing background, so you need to understand who you are going to advertise to. But in able to advertise to them, you have to understand to have marketed and laid that foundation. So by the time you tap into that, you are directly speaking to that person where they are at. And today, people are on social media, but you need to understand your particular desired client, where they are. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Find out the platform they are, and then speak to them, advertise to them directly, based on the demographics and what you're selling and how you're going to display it. Some things work best on Instagram and others work best on Facebook or elsewhere. So you have to understand, first of all, where you're going to advertise, where your people are, and then tap into that directly.
All right.
About, I think, knowing where exactly your customers are. It's just like finding out your customer base, and then you're ready to go, or targeting the right people. So, but then with the digital space, sometimes it's actually difficult, I should say, in managing to understand which is your target market. How best can someone actually tell that, okay, this is my target market, and this is how I'm going to pitch my ideas to them?
You'll find that different like demographics, like we're looking at Facebook has a certain age of, say, for example, but I just know this because I work with this on a daily. So Facebook has an older demographic, whereas if you go to pages like platforms like Instagram, you'll find mainly women who are looking for someone looking for visuals, and they reckon that it's women of a certain age. And when you go to TikTok, again, you're going to find a younger generation, as well as on Twitter, you're going to find maybe corporates and people of that sort. So you need to understand who they are. If they are corporates, you need to go either on LinkedIn and Twitter. And I would suggest to use two platforms, because and then put most of the energy, like 80% of that, into one platform where you know that they are definitely on this platform, and then the 20%, the 20 into another platform, using the 80 So this helps you to sort of play with these two platforms and dive in deep, understand exactly how they are operating, and then bring that home together. So
when you mentioned about the age, you're pretty. I will definitely side with you on this one, because I would want to understand that in the country that we're living in now, the youth, or even across the world, the young people use social media more often than anyone else. And it's better to at least know the age bracket of the people that you're targeting. But if you're to at least help us understand more, in the United Kingdom perspective, how has been the digital, how have the business people been to use the digital space to market and then to sell commodities and services?
So, for example, I'll tell you what, like say, for example, in London, London is such a big city, but then again, it has areas like North London, South London, and the sort. And if you're talking about a local business that is based, like say, in a particular area, the first and foremost thing to do is to, when you're setting up your digital pages, like your online space, you make sure that you put in all the details of your location. So that is going to give you the foundation I talked about, which is the marketing foundation. So once you specify what you do, where you're located, and bring that home like a 2-year-old would understand, then when digital advertising, like say in my area, I would put in like say a restaurant near me. When you go to Google, you can put a restaurant near me. But how does Google know that there's a restaurant near me? It's because that restaurant owner has put in those details to the T. They've specified where they're located. They specified what they do. I could put in like a Thai restaurant near me. They specify what sort of food they do. So it is up to you to, first of all, locally where you are, you have to input all these details so that it's for these systems to understand what you do, and then they can relate that back to the person looking for your services.
Okay, let's
have a quick difference. Where do you think the advantages in using the digital space to market compared to the former, where we're actually using the door-to-door marketing, people printing out banners, flyers back in the early 2000s? Where is the big difference if you're to look at it in that way?
Right. So there's two. I'll look at it in two ways. First of all, the banners. Once somebody drives by, they're not going to be able to tap onto that telephone to check out more about your services. Whereas digitally, someone is going to be able to, and you have to input these things. Someone is going to see your telephone number. They don't have to look for a pen to write it or to screenshot. If you give out flyers, they end up in the bin or water spills over it, and that may be destroyed. Whereas those things can be used in the background, but while making sure that you are reaching the people and they're able to access you quickly. Because we live like in a very, very fast-moving world, and people are bombarded with so many things, so much information coming their way. If somebody sees your banner, much as they may be interested in your service, and they're driving, they're not going to be able to do anything. If somebody sees your banner and they're talking on the phone, how many people walk around with the pen and paper to write down that telephone number? So the advantage is that digitally, one, you're able to repeat that message. You're able to push it in their faces over and over and over again, and then until when it sinks in that, oh, you know what? If I'm looking for a restaurant, or if I'm looking for someone who sells tomatoes, there is this lady around the corner in such and such a place. Because you've repeatedly sent them that message, they know where you are. It has sunk into them. So that is where the advantage is over the ordinary, like the old way of advertising.
All right, let's now look at
of the digital space in terms of advertising and marketing, and as well as online businesses in general. Where do you think this is going to end, and what is the best way to put into proper performance to ensure that the sales increase, if you are, for example, an entrepreneur using the economics, rather the digital space to run your business, what is the best way to at least collect more sales now and expand your business bigger?
Right. First of all, any business, anyone doing business, whether they are doing it digitally or locally, first and foremost, they should think leads. And the best way to get leads, because the leads you get today are the ones which are going to service your business tomorrow. So how are you collecting those leads? You need to have, like, say, for example, somewhere where people can tap in their email. Pretty much everyone has an email today. Pretty much everyone has WhatsApp. I understand that in Uganda, most people prefer to use WhatsApp. So if they give you their WhatsApp number, collect all those leads. If tomorrow we've gone in businesses that were way better than businesses that were not, but obviously those were fine, did not make any. So these collected leads feed your business tomorrow that you'll be able to make sales.
All right.
And now, Sarah, I think the only problem, the only challenge I've got was connecting to you, and my time is seemingly running out. But I really would wish to be having you for more minutes here, or later, I'll be having you for another time. But seemingly, I'm going to give you first 2 minutes to at least give us more about how business is moving in the United Kingdom and how you've been able to cope up with that.
And people are exchanging their pages, like, with customers. As soon as a customer comes in, they go, like, they want their customers to actually tap in maybe their Instagram and follow them. Like, you have to do it there and then to tap into that customer who has come to you today. So other than that, people are obviously going more online. They're doing SEO to be found, not only to, because advertisement will only put you out there for a short while, but marketing or SEO and content and other things will extend your business long term. So you need to they're bringing those things together to ensure that they stay in business not only today, but for a longer period of time.
All right. Sarah, be nice.
Just a quick one, your final remarks, by the way. I was watching the BBC last weekend, and they were actually mentioning about something that you've mentioned before we even went on air, something to do with the heat in the United Kingdom that is actually posing a threat as you're heading to autumn. I need to know something. How are people coping up with that heat? Here in Uganda, we're already used to such kind of temperatures, but it seems some people in there not used was saying some of the footage with the BBC, people getting very early in the morning, heading to swimming pools as early as 8. How true is that?
Been crazy. There was fires broke out from, like, very dry grass, or if you throw a bottle outside and it heated up, it would literally start a fire. So things have been really, really hot the last few days. And again, this is where digital marketing comes in, or digital advertising, because people are not looking forward to going to the shops. They would rather order things online and get them delivered to them whenever they want it. But yeah, the heat is true, but things are much calmer now.
All right.
And then lastly, if you can as well tell the viewer your more details about yourself as we're winding up with this discussion.
Right. Sarah Be Nice. You can find me in all social platforms, like 8 of them. Same name, Sarah Be Nice. I'm a digital marketer and a podcast host. And I work with small businesses, small, medium businesses, and Sarah Be Nice.
All right. Yes, Sarah Be Nice. Now that sounds more British, I should say. Thank you very much for being part of Smart Means Business this morning, and it's been a pleasure having you. Surely we shall be having you next time to discuss more about the space and also content creation. I think it will be a very huge topic where you would at least dive in there. Thank you for being part of Smart Means Business. Here we drive business 24/7. Have a good day, Sarah.
Thank you for having me, and have a brilliant day, everyone listening.
All right. Thank you.
Now, for all the viewers watching Smart 24 TV, then you've actually picked out something from Sarah Be Nice. She's been live from the United Kingdom, giving us more of the tips that in such an age or in the digital era that we're actually having, you need to have your focus on the marketing using digital tools. But the best way to do so is, first of all, know your age bracket or know your market by the age. First of all, get to know which people am I addressing, then get to market accordingly. Then know your marketing strategies and what you're going to use, the marketing tools that you will need to use to at least pull these people closer to knowing the services that you deliver and the goods that you're doing or that you're actually giving out. So that's exactly what is ongoing with our generation currently. The digital space has become a pivotal space for everyone in the world of business. With that, I do take a break. When I return, we have more discussions. One, the SMB on ground with Bariti Andrew, and then secondly, we're discussing content creation and poetry in Uganda. Good morning.